I'm the programming director. My name is Ichiyama, and I'll be the MC for this talk session. And so for this, the objective of this talk is that, well, we do this talk show every year. These are the directors that we invite to screen for the Nippon Cinema Now series, and we ask them to come to this talk session to talk about how they came to develop their films, and to also understand what's happening out there in the film development process in Japan or in their respective countries. And everybody loves this session, so that's why we're doing it again this year. And so this year, we have now went a step beyond, because now we have Jeune here from Cannes, and we'd like him to talk about Japanese indies films, from his perspective. Now, let us have each of the directors talk about how they came to develop their films. So let me start with The Bear Weight by director Takino. It's a very independent film, and it's a very interesting film as well. And so, can you tell us? And maybe you can talk from more of like a production perspective, like how did you, get funds and so forth for your film? Okay, it was a very unusual way for me to create this film. So this Bear Weight film is, it's not really an indies film, but it's not like somebody had given me grants. It was I created this out of my own savings. So that's why it's, and I'm from Komatsu in Ishikawa Prefecture. That's where we shot the film, and I had the cooperation of the local people there to shoot the film, and our staff, our cast. I had to ask them, can you do this at this, low rate, and it was like a really small scale shoot. Okay, so this means that this is you didn't collect any funds, or you didn't get any grants. No, I didn't. And I also, well, I had to borrow some money, but basically it's most of it is my own money. And when you see the film, it's a very personal film, and the producer also was thinking about, getting some kind of grant, and he advised me to do that. But this film is so small and personal that I wanted to spend my own money to create this film. And as for, maybe I might get more funds if it's for distribution or like advertising for it, though. Okay. The next one is director Jan Lipin for Ashes, the film Ashes, and he is from China, and he graduated graduate school from the Tokyo Arts University, and his graduation thesis was this piece of film. And so you had gotten a grant from your university, I believe. Yes, this was my graduation thesis, and actually the graduate school gave me 2 million yen to produce this film. Okay, yes, I know the behind the stories, but how much was the production budget? Very limited. Okay, can you say? Are you not allowed to say how much it was? Well, it was 1.4 million yen. So that is very small budget. I think that he should have gotten more, but of course, you have to spend money on like equipment. Well, he was able to borrow equipment from the school, from the university. So that's why, so it's a little bit different than what you would say a commercial film, but it is a very good piece of work. And so it is more than a graduation thesis. So that is why we decided to screen it here at the festival. Thank you. So Mark Gill. So Mark, you had the most budget, I think, out of everybody here. And so you created the movie called Ravens. It's shot in Japan. And it was a collaboration between Japan, the UK, and Spain, I believe. And so how did you go about collecting funds?
Well, just a slight correction, the film is a co-production between Japan, France, Belgium, and Spain. So it's a four-country co-production. I started out, because I'm from the UK, and there is no way anybody in the UK was going to back this movie. So I went to France because France always welcomes foreign filmmakers, and for me it's the home of cinema. So that was the first place where I got some support, and then we reached out to Japanese producers that we know, and it's, it just took. It was really difficult to get the money raised because my film is a period film set in the past, so that always makes the budget go up, and it's got quite a big cast. So it took a long time. We did get a grant from Japanese Cultural Affairs, which was amazing to get that support from Japan. For me as a filmmaker, to be supported from Japan and France was incredible. So I don't know what the budget. I'm British. We don't talk about money.
公表されているので言ってもいいんですか。実は私It's already been announced, but Ravens, it's a co-production with the Ministry of Culture, and I was one of the juries there, and I read the screenplay at the time, and I said that we really have to support this film. And of course, it wasn't just because of me. Everybody said, let's support this film, and so it's a really great film and great idea behind it. And just to talk about it, so about 20% of the production budget is can be funded for a co-production with an international with a foreign country. So Japanese Directors going outside of Japan to shoot can also receive this grant too. So it's a very good grant, I believe. Okay, now I'd like to ask the same question to Yunsoo Kim. You created Or Utopia, and it says here that you have shot this film under the whole sponsorship of Amazon Studios. Am I right in saying that? Yes, I think so. Okay, and that was because we had our first, we have this show called Amazon Prime Take One, and it's in our third year. But he was the winner of the first Amazon Take One awards, and then Jan Lipin is the winner of the second year, and which means that as a part of the prize, they have a right to propose their screenplay to Amazon Prime Studio, and then that was Or Utopia. Yes, that's correct. And so you didn't have to worry about securing funds, or were you kind of were you a little bit anxious about the funds? Well, I didn't really have any difficulty with it on that topic. And I'm sorry, I don't really have much to say on this topic, but so for fundraise, I didn't have to do any fundraising. Okay, so that is, I guess, something that's fortunate for you, or did you want to raise your own funds? Well, I was able to win the Amazon Take One show award, and for that piece of work that I won it for, I spent all my money on it. And then for this feature film, I didn't have to worry about anything, and I was the director, and I was able to concentrate on my job as a director, and they gave me that environment to do so, and I thought it was really good. Okay, thank you. And now we'd like to have Mr. Christian Jeune. Christian, you're from the Cannes Film Festival. You're always selecting all these different movies, including and you see a lot of Japanese movies. And in the Cannes this year, there is a film by Okuyama Hiroshi, Boku no Ohisama. That film was a commercial film and created at a very low budget by a very young director, and I think you selected that film for screening. And Christian has been, seeing all these Japanese films in these past years. And in these past 3 years, the question is, have you been seeing any change through watching the films, or like, do you see a lot of new directors coming out, or has it been recent?
Sorry. So I've been coming to Japan for the last 25 years, and as you know, for the last 25 years, you know all the directors who have been in Cannes, like Koreeda, Kiyoshi Kurosawa, Naomi Kawase, Takashi Miike, and some others. But like, if I go back to 6-7 years, I was a bit desperate to find new voices. It's always strange to see new voices, but I had the impression that there was nobody really coming behind, or maybe that the young directors had difficulties to finance their film, or even to cross over, not in an international way, but the subject or the treatment were quite local cinema, like we have in every country, and those films wouldn't travel. And I must say, for the last 3-4 years, I'm very optimistic, because we have seen, not only in Cannes, by the way, if you look at the selections in other festivals, we see this, I don't know if it's a new generation, but at least young filmmakers or new filmmakers are emerging, like Shie Ayakawa was also in Cannes with Plan 75 last year, Okuyama, Noah Sora with Happy End was in Venice, or even Desert of Namibia, which was in Director's Fortnight. So definitely, definitely there is, we cannot say a wave, but there is something happening.
Maybe something like a new wave is coming, okay. So, seen from your eyes, Christian, why do you think that's happening? Is it because you think that these directors are able to create movies in a more liberal way, or what kind of changes do you see, or do you see any changes in Japanese cinema? どちらかというとそれは日本人に聞きたいぐらいなんですけれども、もしかしたらっていう、ちょっと資金集めの環境も多分日本でもあまり変わらない気はするんですね。で、世界各国どこでもそうなんですけれども、新しい若い映画人がやっぱり初めての映画を作るためには支援が必要、そういった投資が必要で、各国には別の投資の仕方があると思うんですね。いい方向に向かっているような気はするんですけど、あと国によっては例えば突然 何か自分を表現したいと、出てくる人がいるわけですね。もっと幅広い層にリーチしたいと思う、人たちが出てきていて、ですので、そうですね、そういった支援。
Easy to explain and to describe, which is like the environment. How come all of a sudden young filmmakers are emerging, and not one, not two, but many more? So that's also a question to ask yourself.
Thank you. はい、それですね、今日本でどういうふうにみんなを集めるかもいろんなケースが
I'm sure that there's all kinds of cases in raising funds and hearing from all of you. So Yan Li-pin's case and Yunsoo Kim's case, they were able to raise their funds without worrying about fundraising. And Mark Gill, it was a co-production from other countries and from the Japanese government. So Director Takino, did you think about applying for a grant when you were going to create your movie? I did think about it in the very beginning, and it was during COVID, and there was Art for the Future, and so I was going to apply for that. But Arts for the Future is it was closed 2 years ago. So I was trying to make this happen the year before last, and that's when Arts for the Future was still operating. And usually I'm an assistant director as well, so I had my own work, and I was trying to create an idea and planning for this film, and it's just the timing it was not right, and I just had to give up applying for that grant. And then last year, I looked into the grants that were available, but I didn't really have anything that would meet the requirements. So that's why I thought, okay, well, since it's the personal story, that I would just spend my own money and work on it myself. So I did try and get access, but to a grant, but it was difficult with my film as well. So that's why I would say I gave up on it. Okay, so I think some people know Art for the Future. So in case you didn't know, so this is a grant that was working for like artists that didn't have work during COVID, and they made a lot of grants available, not just for films, and it was only for 2 years that they were operating it. And during that time, a lot of work was being applied there. And in last year's Tokyo Film Festival, we had a piece of work that was sponsored by that. But then after we got over COVID, well, the films we screened last year was the last ones, and so I guess you had gone beyond the time limit, I guess. Yes, and also, I was, because this is a child summer vacation story, so I wanted to shoot this film during summer vacation, or during the summer, and so it was a little bit difficult timing-wise. So that's why I decided to just spend my own money on it. Okay, and then so in Japan, there are several grants, like Mark Gill. His grant happens once a year. You just have that window of time once a year. And this is a art support fund, and I think there's a separate fund that probably happens twice a year. So if you're not right in time for it, you're not able to apply for it. Yes, that's exactly right, because it's important to raise funds, but I had my other work to do, and then I had to work on this film, and it was just a schedule, just didn't work out in time to apply for it. And I was also a producer of my film, so I didn't have anybody to do the application on behalf of me. So I knew about the grant, but I couldn't apply for it. Okay. So,
Christian, I would like to ask you a comment. クリスチャンさんにちょっとお聞きしたいんですが、フランスはですね、多分いろんな助成金が
I'm sure that there's all kinds of grants available.
ご存知でしたら
And if you know of any, if you can let us know. Like, for example, the question is it how many times can you apply, or is it like once a year or twice a year, like Japan? Would you know anything about the grants, like the frequencies, or like the when it's due?
Well, mainly it's the CNC with giving grants, and you have commissions all year long, actually, for first film, for second film, for you have different commission, and you have many ways to get grant. Frankly, I don't know if it's. I think it's twice a year, but I wouldn't confirm that because I'm not on that side of the of the industry. But you have also many financing coming from the region, from big region, like South, East, West. They finance also a lot. But the CNC system, even if the French are complaining, because the French are complaining anyway, it's still a system that works and that has a merit to exist and to be able to finance new filmmakers. Actually, like quite everywhere, the most difficult is not the first film to finance. It is the second film, which it's when it came to the second that I guess many filmmakers find difficulties. It's not only in France, so I think it's quite everywhere. It's always we're always waiting to see if a director is passing this moment of the second film. And we have seen many. Not disappearing, but struggling, fighting to get a second film finance. The first film, I'm not saying it's easy, but at least there are many grants and many people who are quite interested in, and also a whole production system in France helps that.
はい、今ですね、1本目を作るの
So
は
for the first film, you might have struggled, but not that much. For the second one, it's a really big struggle. I think that's pretty common around the world. And so I think everybody aside from Mark, Takino-san, I think your first feature was actually, I did a feature film with a co-director, but this is my first one as being my own director. So anyway, so we just spoke about the second one being difficult. So I guess you've just created the first one. You're not thinking of a second one yet. Well, next year I am hoping to have my film released next year, and I'm working on all those arrangements right now, and I haven't really been able to come around that topic yet. But I know that I have to think about a second film, because when I come to film festivals like this, people talk about it. Okay, Yunsoo, Kim-san, you just completed your film, but have you any ideas for your second film? I don't really have a specific idea yet, but listening to everybody here, the first one was I was able to create in a very good environment. So what am I going to do with the second one? It does linger on my mind. I've been thinking about it since I finished shooting my first one. I don't think I'll be able to secure the same environment to do the second one. And so maybe it's not just about doing this in Japan. Maybe it's outside of the country. And I know that there are so many barriers. And hearing this, I'm feeling that it's going to be very difficult for me to do the second one. Okay, Jan Liepin, you have, are you considering your second film? Yes, I am scheduled to shoot from next January. Oh, okay. And however, the fundraising is, well, the producer is, having a hard time, and we have the Japan Cultural Foundation giving a grant of 1.5 million yen, but we're still looking for other funds. The Hosen Cultural Foundation is a grant that for students, and Jan Liepin is a graduate graduated college, so you're still eligible. But at one point, 5 million, that's not enough. No, it's not enough. And so your producer is your classmate, former classmate from college? He's 1 year older than me, yes. Okay, so it is a very, I guess it is a very small budget, but you're still trying to secure some funds, okay? So another question I want to ask to Mark is, so we spoke about the Ministry of Culture grant. Did you get grants from other countries, like governmental grants from other countries?
No, I don't think we did. No, not at all. No, we didn't. No, it was not that I'm aware of.
Oh, yeah.
But what I will say, Christian is right. My first film was difficult to get made, but this was way more difficult to get the money to finance this. Yeah, it was. We did it because I've got amazing producers who somehow pulled it together. But it is more difficult. It took longer, and obviously COVID didn't help. And I think with me not being a Japanese director wanting to make a Japanese movie, I think a lot of people didn't quite understand why I was doing it or if it would be a success. But we may have got a small grant at the start to do some research from Tokyo City to come and do the location scouting, but that was it.
Okay. Thank you.
But don't give up. Tell the guys not to give up.
はい、ありがとうございます。その他ですね、なんか今資金集めの話をずっと
so we were just talking about fundraising. So Japanese indies films. Just wanted to find out what was difficult about it creating an indies film, other than the topic of fundraising. Was there anything that you found as a challenge? Takino-san?
はい、
Yes.
おそらくこの並ん
So everybody here, among all these 4 directors, I think that maybe Yunsoo and Mark-san, Kim-san, I think I think I work from a different perspective from them. I guess my challenges would be different from what they challenged. Of course, I'm not saying which is bad or whatever, but I don't even know if this is going to be of reference to anybody, but I prepared for everything for my film, and there was of course some people that helped me out, but staffing, casting, screenplay, location hunting, and negotiations, and also just pulling the whole plan together. I mean, I've done everything, which is good because I have the say in everything that I want to do. But there's no manpower, lack of manpower, lack of human resources. So, as Kim-san said before, he was able to concentrate as a director, and I wanted to, but I had to spend a lot of time and effort on other things, and I knew that would happen, but I still think that was the biggest challenge. And so as a director, directing or creating a structure, working on a film, creating that environment for myself is very important, is what I found out. Yes, so director, working as producer, so I guess that's what you had to do. Yes, and also, even in a Japanese film, I'm not even sure how many directors are able to concentrate on being a director, because they may have to be involved in all kinds of like administration stuff and logistics stuff, and because I worked as assistant director and I saw what was happening to the directors. So that's why I think creating an environment is very important for the director, and I really found that out this time. And so, but I don't have a solution though. So, yeah. So, Kim-san, you had your producer to create an environment for you, so that was why you were concentrating on your film. Yes, for this film, yes, but up until here, like I worked on all shorts, and I had to do everything on my own. And for the day of the shoot, I kind of realized that I was the director. Up until then, I was kind of like the production department. I was like the art department. I was doing all sorts of roles by myself, and I kind of lost track of what my job was during the process. And when I went to the set, that was the time when I really understood that I was going back to me being director. And so it's a very unhealthy situation, I think. And as it was mentioned by somebody, so working as producer as well is means that you have to say in everything, so it's good in that way. But but the issue is that I don't know how to say this, but when there's too much authority, if there's too much authority on one person, and that may lead to, I don't know, like harassment, maybe like environment that invites harassment. So that's what I'm a little worried about. Okay, Kim-san, I saw one of your shorts, and I don't remember the title, but it was at the end of the year. It was you shot at the big intersection in Shibuya, and I don't think you got a permit to shoot that area. You were like shooting among a lot of people, and if you had a producer, the producer would have stopped you from shooting that. So you did everything yourself? Yes, I did. Yes, it was 2013. It was One Night a Train. That was the film, and I just did that, on my own. I shot everything, and I got all the money. I got all the people to help me out, and so if there was a producer, yes, you're right. I would have been able to shot that. Yeah, he would have stopped you from doing that.